Hello, hello. Welcome to Kinship. If you are new here, welcome. We're so happy that you're here. And if you are returning, welcome back. My name is Jessica Amos. I'm a mindfulness teacher and coach, and I'm the founder of Stay With Yourself, which is the practice of being who you are, where you are, learning to honor yourself in each moment. And I believe that's exactly what we are here to do at Kinship. So I invite you to just take a moment to, if you're sitting, relax into your seat. If you're driving, if you're walking, whatever you're doing, just relax into your body. See what it feels like to just take a deep breath in, notice where you're holding tension, and relax. Oftentimes, when we're not feeling relaxed in the mind, our body can tense up, and it can make it difficult to be open to receiving new ideas, rerouting new neurological pathways, that sort of thing, creating new healthier behaviors. So just relaxing in the body can help to relax the mind and relax the emotions. So I invite you to just notice where you're at in your body today and invite just even the tiniest bit more relaxation, just 10% more, and see how that feels, whether you're, again, on the go or sitting here just taking in this teaching and this time with community. And that brings me to what I want to talk to you about today. Speaking of rerouting neurological pathways, whether you're familiar with the neuroscience of mindfulness and healing and growth, and the neuroscience of changing your life through how you think, we do understand through so much study that's been done in the scientific fields that our brains and our minds and the thoughts that we think really influence how we feel, influence our behaviors, influence the direction of our life. Like where your thoughts go, there your life goes, right? I also like it where your attention goes, your life flows, right? So where you're putting your attention is also really influencing how your life flows. And maybe you've noticed that for yourself. Just taking note of that, maybe just one of the first questions considering here as you meet with your group is, where is your attention going and how is that growing? Like where you put your attention really grows in your life. One thing I really like to teach in a program that I run, it's called Sacred Habits. It's all about, we're not trying to get rid of bad habits and change the bad things and the things that aren't working, because often when we're putting the focus on changing the bad things or fixing things, those things are getting more attention and they're growing. It can almost become overwhelming and you feel like it's getting worse. So what I like to encourage is to start to put your attention on something new and something that feeds your soul, that brings you alive, that brings a bit of joy, that brings a bit of ease, that brings a bit of that relaxation and peace into the body. And you'll find that a lot of times this other stuff will begin to leave on its own, because you're not giving it attention, and you're starting to move your focus. And that's exactly what it means to reroute your neurological pathways. I like to imagine that we have these deep ruts ingrained in our mind through a lifetime of conditioning, from the time that we're born, from society, parental figures, family, culture, school, friends, wherever it is you come from. We get these sort of really deeply unconditioned trenches built into our neurological pathways in our brains, and they can be kind of like these ruts that we get stuck in that are hard to get out of. So when it comes to rerouting your neurological pathways, it's really important that we're just focusing on something new and coming back to a new point of focus as often as possible. And there's three things that I like to use to help me in supporting this. So I'm just going to share them with you briefly, and maybe you can explore them in conversation with your group. So, first noticing attention, where you're putting attention, and maybe what you would like to maybe put your attention on instead that feeds your heart, your mind, your body, soul more, that brings you more joy and ease and happiness. Noticing where you can make that shift in your life, not beating yourself up, but more shifting into some gratitude, whatever it is. But these are the three things for really, in my mind, rerouting and creating new neurological pathways in the mind. And just keeping in mind that when we are conditioned into these ruts in our minds, it's taken much, much, much repetition over years, thousands and thousands and thousands of moments of repetition. So when it comes to rerouting new pathways in the mind, it's going to take repetition again as well. So just keeping that in mind, it's part of the process. It's also why we practice together, so we know that we're not alone. It gives us courage, it gives us stamina, it gives us encouragement to keep going, because we know we're not alone in this process, right? So number one, visualize how you want your life to be, visualize how you're showing up in your life. Visualization is huge. Some people struggle with visualizing and pictures in the mind. That's okay. The mind, it does think in pictures, but for some people it thinks more in words or in feelings or in tones. So you can also journal out images, you can draw images, you can sit and meditate and visualize images of how do you want to be experiencing yourself in that situation that's difficult for you, where you find yourself being reactive. Could you picture yourself showing up differently? How would you like to show up differently? What would that look like? What would that feel like? Really get detailed in visualizing yourself showing up exactly how it is you want to be showing up in your life. I don't know if that's peace, if that's patience, if that's with humor, if that's with joy, if that's with ease, if that's with a lightness, if that's with trust, whatever it is. And what sort of things do you picture yourself speaking and saying and acting, and how are you treating the people you love, and how are you handling difficult circumstances? Just draw pictures of yourself, because the mind doesn't know the difference between reality and perceived reality. So feed your mind pictures of yourself showing up how it is you want to be showing up in the world. And what you're doing is you're priming the pump, and you're priming yourself to now be able to show up in that way in your life. Secondly, action. It's now acting as if. So I like to ask people, so say you want to love yourself more. If you loved yourself unconditionally, how would you act? So you act as if you love yourself unconditionally, and remember that feelings follow action. Feelings follow action. I really feel like each of these things could be their own teachings, and they might be. I might create more videos with these teachings. Feelings follow action. So remember that you're not waiting to feel guilt, to not feel guilty in order to set the boundaries, right? Set the boundary, guilty, keep doing it, and eventually the guilt will go on its own. And third, practice honoring your progress and paying attention to the things that are going well, and how you're making these little adjustments, as opposed to focusing on all the things you did wrong and bad, right? And that's starting to really give this neurological pathway a bigger opening into some gratitude and some acknowledgement, some grace for yourself. Okay, right? All right, so that's a lot right there. Like I said, as I'm saying this, maybe this should be 3 of their own teachings, and maybe they will be. But for now, I encourage you to go talk about these things together. Thank you so much to our facilitator for holding this space for us. I look forward to hearing how this session goes for you. Which one of these 3 practices really resonates with you? Where do you want to be putting your attention? And of course, if you have questions for me specifically that you would like me to answer in another teaching, I encourage you to submit those questions. I'd be so happy to create a talk just on that. Okay, until next time, may you stay with yourself today and always.